Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. सबको मेरे आदर है. Welcome you all for this Japa talk. We'll start एक प्रार्थना के मूल्यन से Japa talk start करेंगे. ओम अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So we are all nearing to one of the important festivals that we put our mind and heart into. So जन्माष्टमी आने वाली है. हम सब मुझे पता है कि आप सब लोग भी एक एक सेवा लेके बहुत ही परिश्रम कर रहे होंगे कि कैसे भगवान की सेवा करें. तो इस प्रकार इस उद्देश्य को लेके मैं आज का डपा टॉक में कुछ बात करने वाला हूँ. So every time whenever we are chanting, sometimes we feel even after chanting and even after finishing our rounds, every time we chant our prescribed rite, हम अपना जो भी हमने कमिट किया है वो लिया है कि इतना जब करेंगे, तो वो करने का बाद भी, वो जब करने का बाद भी, नहीं तो या भक्ति सेवा करने का बाद भी, whenever we are given some services and we do that services, sometimes that services we feel as if it is like a burden. We are not getting that relishment. So why is that happening? Why after prescribing, after following our sadhanas, also why we are not how do we know that whether we are really progressing or not? So in these terms, I was hearing one of the lecture where Prabhuji was mentioning that devotees generally what happens as the time progresses, समय का साथ में जब भी devotee जब करने लगते हैं, so what happens is generally these three offenses which are very very primary. Of course, all the offenses are very very important, but this three primary offenses we tend to lack on it. We tend to somehow forget in our subconscious mind. We actually sometimes forget about it. So what are the three main offenses that a devotee has to be very very particular, take a particular care on it? So one of the offenses that very important offense is that inattentive chanting. So in the 10 offenses what we chanted just now, to be thus offenses say, a 11th offense say to be inattentive while chanting. So the whole purpose of actually chanting is actually to hear the mantras. The 816 syllable mantras has to be properly heard through our ears. Even once when one of the devotees asked, एक devotee पूछा था प्रभुपाद को, प्रभुपाद जब भी मैं जप करता हूँ कि मेरा मन में बहुत सी आलोचना आते हैं, क्या करना है मुझे? तो प्रभुपाद बोले, तुम तो अपने you are actually chanting by mouth and अपना कान से सुनते हो. कहाँ है मन का प्रश्न? इधर मन का प्रश्न कुछ भी नहीं है. So this tells us that our mind actually there is no work of mind here. So somehow we have to switch off, turn off our mind with. I know we will be in so many commitments, so many engagements. So once we have to somehow at the point whenever we are sitting for chanting, so we should make a blueprint that let me shut down all my thoughts, and then just my only aim is actually only to properly hear the 16 syllable word. 16 syllable word को हमें पूरा तरह ध्यान से सुनना है. That is the first offenses that we try to make. And the other offense, which is also one more of a important offense, is the 10th offense, where it says that जो 10वां offense है what is the 10th offenses is that to continue, like to not have complete faith on the chantings of the holy names of the Lord and to continue to have material attachments. So हम सभी इस भौतिक जगत में हैं, जब भी हम चैंट करते हैं या कृष्ण प्रज्ञा में आते हैं, इस प्रज्ञा का उद्देश्य है कि हम प्रज्ञा यानी हमारा मामूली प्रज्ञा जो भी होती है वो प्रज्ञा बोलती है कि मैं इसका क्रिएटर हूँ, सबका like I am the creator and enjoyer of this material world. That is our consciousness. Consciousness means I, and what it tells that I am the creator and I am the enjoyer of this material world. That was the consciousness which we were having before coming to Krishna consciousness. And you can see all over the world, like everybody is trying, thinking that I am created. I have created this big building. I am going to enjoy it. I have created this big car. So let me enjoy it. This is the consciousness we have. So somehow we are going to laud it on the material nature and try to enjoy it. But what Prabhupada created was a Krishna consciousness society. What do you mean by Krishna consciousness? In this, we are not having the consciousness that I am the creator, I am the enjoyer. मैं सबको बनाना वाला हूँ, मैं सबको enjoy करना वाला हूँ. ये conscious से हमारे हैं कि मैं सबको बनाना वाला नहीं हूँ, पर भगवान है, भगवान कृष्ण है जो सबको बनाया है, और he is the real enjoyer. That is the consciousness we bring, and I am only to be created. I have been created and I am meant for to be enjoyed. So that is the consciousness, is the Krishna consciousness, where we come to the attitude of a servitor. So this is the consciousness what we are trying to bring. But even though when we are practicing as a practicing neophyte devotee, what happens is, like, we tend to have material attachments, and sometimes when chanting also, our desires will be towards fulfilling the material desires. And this chanting is so powerful, ये इतना powerful है कि जो भी आप कल्पना में लेंगे, भौतिक विषय को लेके आएंगे, that also will get fulfilled. But what happens? Your spiritual progress will not happen. So this is another offense that we try to make after getting so many of instructions. Still we continue to have our material attachments. So this offenses is one of the important offense that one has to really work. And Rupa Goswami clearly says that the real way of doing devotional service is anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnena. So he says the devotional service should be actually without any material desires, and it should be anukulyena krishna anukulam. So anukulyena means it should be favorable for the service of Krishna. So that is actually the real purpose of the devotional service. So with this attitude, we should actually do our devotional service. And the third and the very important is to blaspheme the devotees, one who has dedicated the first offense. So this is where, like, especially the community of devotees, Prabhupada has created this whole community that to make us understand that without this community we cannot progress in bhakti. We need somebody who inspires us. We need somebody who actually gives us service. So only when this community is there, we can progress. So sometimes in the association of the devotees, what happens, like, we tend to be little casual, and whenever engaging in so many other services, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, we may indulge we may indulge in blaspheming the devotees also, knowingly or unknowingly. So we should be very careful with this offense, especially to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated the lives of propagating the holy names of the Lord. So this is a very important offense that we have to take care of. So if we are able to take care, at least in our subconsciousness mind, this three has to be very properly taken care of. Of course, rest of them are very also important, but very casually we do this three offenses, knowingly or unknowingly. Most of the time we do these offenses. So that is why what happens, whenever we are sitting for chanting, we are not able to hear the namas. भगवान का नाम जो है हम एक्चुअली पूरी तरह से नहीं सुन रहे हैं, हमारा मन इधर उधर घूम रहा है. So they try to avoid these offenses and then just pray to the Lord, oh Lord, my intention of engaging in all your devotional services, जो भी भक्ति सेवा में मैं आपको करना चाहता हूँ, ये सभी मेरा मूल उद्देश्य ये है कि मैं आपका नाम पूरी तरह से सुन सकूं. यही है मेरा उद्देश्य. if you put all the concentration in that and then pray to the Lord, somehow by your mercy only I can hear this word. Otherwise, it is not possible for me. So that is what I am actually engaging in the devotional service of you. So you please actually, this is the only desire I have. I have only desire to hear your namas. So why we should have this desire? Because only by hearing the names of the Lord, our mind will get purified. And only when our mind get purified, then only actually the Lord actually will open his darshan. Somehow or other, the Lord has actually is there as Paramatma within our heart, but he has closed. Yes, this because this heart is not pure, that darshan is actually closed. So when our heart pure becomes very pure, then Lord actually will show his darshan. He will actually come reveal in our heart. So for that we have to purify our mind, and there is only one way in this Kali Yuga, that is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Bhagavan ka jap karna hi ek hi mool yuga dharma hai is Kali Yuga. So we will chant the names of the Lord at the same time. Try to avoid the offenses and very attentively try to hear the 16-word syllable that we are chanting. I'll stop here in interest of time. Thank you for very patiently.